Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex. Welcome, one and all. Um, I just got one more shady thing to do. Um, Let me find that, and then I am ready. Um, oh man, you know, I have recently added to my Love Child collection. Um, where I take a famous person that looks like somebody else that I suppose is famous, and okay, but I don't actually have a new one, but I'm just in that mood. So let me grab that last one. Oh, anyway, I'm going to save it for the end. So, um, huh. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, one more, and then I'm ready. Uh, I gotta stop. I gotta stop. This is why I will never be invited to a Harry and Meghan barbecue because of some of my fun stuff. But that's okay. That's okay. I will take one for the team. Huh. Nope, that's not it. Okay, so let me see who's here. In the meantime, let me see who's here. Huh. God, I got to get another chair. This thing is squeaking up a storm. All right, so hello. Let me see who was first. Yeah, if you guys need to slow down the slow mode, go ahead. I had reset it to 60 seconds, but if you need to slow it down, that is perfectly fine. Connie Balmer, you were second. Caroline, you were first. Lydia Washington is here. CR is here. Ann Fu, Kathy G, Shelly L, welcome. Um, oh man, okay, I got that one. What else am I? Oh, that was from yesterday. Okay, never mind. I can find that very fast. 1 second, you guys. Oh man, how old am I? How old am I? That's what I'm asking you guys. Cause okay, I got that one. Oh yeah, I do have that one. All right. All right. All right. No worries. I can find that later. All right. So let me get my slides up here, which I have been fooling with, and we will get on with it. God, today is the 21st. This month is going by really, really fast. Okay. Hello, Rodney Jackson. Thank you for being here. Fancy Lola. Okay, Nothalando, Niandini. All right. Let me get on because you know what? Oh, such a CC, Veronica Quick. It is going to be busy this late evening. Everybody's late today. Lady Bird, hello. Veronica Quick. All right, so there we go. I am going to blaze through this. Oh, no, that's not what I meant to do. Okay. Because it's late too, so I don't want to keep you guys up so late either. So let me open up one more screen so I can see what you guys are seeing, and then we're good to go. I need to close down a couple things. Go, go, and go. All right. And all right. Okay.
Wow. But anyway, guys.
No, that is not what I wanted.
Today, I guess
Sorry about that, you guys. Give me 1 second. There we go. I got my screen open. Perfect. All right, so the volume. Perfect. All right, so there is little, hey, Mo Shannon, Elaine Parker, Terry H., Joy Amore. There is little or no interest in the Jubilee. I mean, not Jubilee, the Jubilee, the coronation, which some people have referred to as the Chublee or Chublee. I think it's Chublee. But don't worry, the Sussex Squad Detective Agency is going to get to the bottom of it. Before that, please remember, you guys, to go to the Time magazine, find that link so that you guys can vote repeatedly for our faves. Don't forget that. It's the Time magazine who should be on the 2023 Time 100 list. Vote now. And just like they do in Chicago for the 1960 presidential election, vote early, vote often. Or you can vote often and vote early. Oh my goodness, yes, it's going to be the 22nd there very soon. Okay, let's get on with this. Blank spot. Again, vote for our faves. How and why you should volunteer for the king's coronation. So check this out. Um, Petition of Sharon Rumsey, New Zealand to become a republic and elect a head of state. Now, to be fair, there's not a lot of people who have signed this petition, but remember, monarchy stands for inequality and the stupid belief that royalty is better than us. White supremacy is the basis of monarchy. We need a New Zealand head of state. In other words, she's saying that they should vote for a head of state, which is a native born New Zealand. Now, if you guys don't know it, hello, Anastasia Isabella. Yes, I noticed that. Um, I hope he's well. But yeah, so to be a president of the United States, one must be 35 years of age or older, and you must be an American born citizen. Now, there are exceptions, like if your family is stationed overseas and you are on a military base or something like that. I believe John McCain was actually born down in Panama. He didn't win the election, of course, but he was actually born in Panama. And this is one of the reasons why the Orange Menace worked so hard to try to delegitimize President Obama with this idea that he wasn't actually born in the United States, because that is like the bedrock of every citizen born to this country, is that you too can be president of the United States. KDV, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. And happy Tuesday to you. Thank you. Greatly appreciate it. So, if you take a look here, there's the petition of Sharon Rumsey. Now, I have no idea who that is. New Zealand to become a republic and elect a head of state. Now, as you can see, there was only 690 signatories at the time that I posted this. And let's see, oh my goodness, closing date 22nd of May. So yeah, that is the petition. I believe monarchies belong in the past along with fairy tales and have no place in modern times. I believe New Zealand requires a citizen to fill the role of head of state. We are a strong, independent nation that, in my view, has long passed any requirement for a monarchy to and represent the nation. I believe the current royal family is not necessary for the nation to move forward, and it's time to break free from the monarchy. So I was, I was very surprised I saw that. So I'm going to watch this, I think, and see how fast the petition grows. But this seems to be one of the themes in the Commonwealth of Nations, and especially in the places where the monarch is still a head of state. is that they want to undo those ties that bind them, should I say. But the problem is, even with Australia and Canada and many nations in the Caribbean, they have, a constitutional component in all of these governments. So you can't just, vote them. Well, I mean, you can vote, but um, let me see. An Aboriginal Australian. Oh, I don't know. Uh, I don't know who that person is, but anyway, that's a good question. All right, so and then along with that, there was a new anthem. God, that ungracious king, God, that ignoble king, save us from him. Charles the notorious reign starts inglorious. Keep him from over us, Lord, not that king. Wait a minute, am I getting the melody all wrong? Charles with his bags of cash. Charles, whose consort. Oh, that is bad. Now, I did not write this, you guys, and I know I make up a song here and there, but it was on the Twitter. Come with recompense, Lord, now for our defense, let it be done. So let it be done. So yeah, that is what is floating around out there. I promise you, I had absolutely no hand in creating that anthem, but I thought it was hilarious. And poor Charles with those unfortunate childbearing hips of his, which is odd that he has that. But anyway, well, his hands and his ears are rather strange too. So what could I say? All right. And then a group of prominent Scots, including politicians, musicians, playwrights, and trade unionists, have signed a declaration calling for an independent Scottish Republic. Both of these on the same day. And this one was actually in the National, which is Scotland's, well, I don't know if it's their most prestigious newspaper, but well, it's the only one I follow. But yeah, so this was actually in the National. So something is brewing, but wait, it gets better. It gets better. So, according to this, let me see. I need to be able to see that. There it is. Scots encourage a planned big launch to celebrate King's coronation. So, on the one hand, did I cover that up by mistake? Yes, I did, didn't I? Scots plan a big launch to celebrate the King's coronation. That's what it says up there at the top, but I blocked it with the other strip there. So it says Scots are being urged to host events to celebrate the King's coronation with a cash prize for communities as an incentive. I repeat, with a cash prize. This is for real, you guys. This was in the Scottish National. This was in their newspaper with a cash prize as an incentive. How desperate are you? You're trying to coerce people into celebrating the coronation, a once in a lifetime event for most people that are alive today. Well, actually, not because Charles is not going to be there for as long as his mom was. So I take that back. So, a last time or only time for a lot of people that are alive today. There's a lot of people who are going to witness his coronation who have never seen one in that country before. There are so many people that have been born since 52, 53 when they had the coronation that they've never seen one. So this should be a big deal. and yet nobody's interested and nobody cares. Leg says Ayer tampon will be sad seeing that anthem. I know Legs. He's had a lot to deal with, and like I said, if it wasn't for obvious things, I would almost feel kind of sorry for the old guy. But this is a disaster of his own making. So he only has himself to blame for this. There has been many opportunities where he could have gone a different direction or listened to people that are not there um, to tell him what he wants to hear, aka the courtiers. But anyway, good luck, Charles. You're going to need it. And thank you, Legs, for the super chat. Now, if you take a look at some of these responses, I thought they were very interesting. Desperation reigns, resorting to bribery to convince communities to celebrate the coronation should be proof enough of the monarchy, lack of relevance and credibility. And then, of course, there's the very simple no thanks. Now, these are quotes from the newspaper article. Another one says, really is the last of the big spenders. 2,500 pounds and 1,000 pounds for runner up. Jings, where's the letter? And of course, the coronation is so popular, they're having to hold a prize to get folks to participate. And then the next one says they're really taking brought and sold for English gold uh, to the max. Yeah, they're really taking brought and sold for English gold to the max. If people have to be bribed to celebrate, does it count? I think not. Um, I exhort you to join Republic. The prize is freedom from this parasitic family trying to pull the wool over our eyes again. The 30 pieces of silvers, actually, the last one here says the 30 pieces of silver runs cheap these days, shows you how little they think of Scots. They can get away with palming off any Scots who would actually do their bidding for this prize. I'm like, wow. Now, mind you guys, this is just a small sample of people. They don't speak for everyone in Scotland, although I'm sure that sentiment is shared by quite a few. Ruth Lopez says Baron McCain was born on a United States military base in Panama and therefore considered born on U.S. soil. Well, that's what I meant when I said he was born in Panama. That's because of a U.S. military base, and that is one of the exceptions. But I do thank you for clarifying that. Um, Known because I raised and lowered the American flag at our base overseas, a U.S. base is like an embassy. Yes, absolutely. And that's what I meant when I said if you're in a military station overseas, then that way you would still qualify to be president of the United States. And that is like one of the few exceptions that there are. So Lily could actually be president, Lily Diana. Huh. How about that? Okay, so let me scroll down here. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. I can what? Oh, okay, I need to get my palm off of that. I cannot support the closer it gets to her walking over Diana's grave, the more it sticks in my throat. My daughter is 3 years older than William. Yeah, it's I'm surprised more people are not saying anything about that. And of course the press is not likely to, share any of that sentiment anyway. Anfu says that British monarchy killed out half of the Irish people when they asked for independence. This will soon be resurrected by the Irish people. Oh, I didn't know the number was that vast, but I knew that. And didn't they? There was like a famine in Ireland at one time, and the government did nothing about it. The British government, that is, they didn't feel inclined to help. And I saw something about that on a documentary some time ago. Well, you know what? That explains why so many people in Ireland identified with the struggles of the anti-apartheid movement. That explains it. Lorna Williams says, we are in the middle of a health funding crisis here in Canada, so there has been no announcement of Con a Nation celebration here. Also, latest polls, less than 50% support the monarchy. I've been hearing that. I have been hearing that. Anastasia Isabella says a pair of earrings cost £5,000 and Skellington is wearing them out a single thought on taxpayers' money, and the British tabloids are worried about Meghan cooking her dinner. Yeah, the priorities are all messed up, but let me see. Oh, that was for someone else. Their priorities are so baffling. If the newspapers would want to expand their readership, should I say, they ought to consider some of the social crisis that's going on. But instead, I don't even think that the goal for the newspapers is to make a hefty profit. I really do not see them as a business that is based in profits only. It really is an opportunity to push propaganda. That is what it is. It is a wing of the government and it works as propaganda. And you know what, guys? I know sometimes it seems like I'm a bit heavy-handed with the British tabloids and of course in some respects the government. But I will tell you, when we had that unnecessary war in Iraq, when the United States, and you know, this was the anniversary, I think it was yesterday, was the anniversary, or maybe a couple days ago, was the anniversary of the shock and awe in Baghdad. And when that war was happening, I could not sleep. I could not sleep. I was so upset about it with that invasion. And at that point, I did kind of, lose respect for quite a few people. And I remember how the American media was embedded with the United States military. And for access, in exchange for access, they actually would not report accurately on the atrocity that was caused by our government on this modern urban setting of Baghdad rather. And so over 1 million people in Iraq died because of that unnecessary war. Over 1 million people. So I don't look as the United States government as being this pious entity that only is there to serve humanity and we're the good guys and we come in with the white hats on. We have made some terrible, terrible mistakes. And all of the goodwill that this country had built up from things like World War II and World War One and such, a lot of that integrity was lost because of that unnecessary war. So um, I say you have to hold them all accountable. I mean, when they get things right, fine, but when they get stuff wrong like that, that's disastrous. So, and speaking of getting things wrong at a time like this, when people are really suffering financially, to push this idea of a coronation just seems outrageous. It seems absolutely outrageous. Now is not the time. But Lorraine Kerr says Scottish, not British. Independence is recovery. All right, for that. I like that. Independence is recovery. Okay, Naomi Maria. Okay, I saw Parasite. I got to take it. Parasites thought that they were so popular, um, the people will be bowing at their feet. Finally, woken up, now using bribery to con people to participate in the choral archaic parade, rewarding the people. Yeah, yeah, they are literally bribing people rather to participate in the coronation. That is bizarre, absolutely bizarre. Let's see. Monroe Taylor, Classic Movie Channel says, I spoke out against the war in Iraq and I was threatened at the time. It was dangerous to speak against it. I agree with you. They were wrong. Absolutely, Monroe Taylor. Most Americans do not know that the death toll for the Iraqis was 1 million people. And with all that propaganda that the United States used to propagate that war, um, no matter how awful and no matter how dreadful you would have thought that Saddam Hussein was, he didn't kill 1 million of his own people. Now, I will say that he did kill a lot of people in Iran, but it's a lot of history in that part of the world that most Americans have no knowledge of. And so, one of the reasons why the Russians gave us such a hard time, actually, let me see. Let me get this right. So, the United States, and this is all my interpretation, I'm going to go very quick. The United States wait. Okay. So the Russians actually gave aid to um the wait, let me get this right. Anyway, the United States helped to defeat the Russians in Afghanistan. And the Russians, they actually helped with, I think it was Russia and China that helped to, and it was a defeat in Vietnam for the United States. I mean, we didn't win, we left. And so that's what they do. A lot of these nations actually have a war by proxy. And one of the reasons why Iran has so much of an issue with the United States, not the people, but the government, is because the United States perpetuated and prolonged that war with Iraq. So it's what countries do. A lot of these countries have a war by proxy, and Americans, most Americans, I will say, seem to know little about um, what our government has been a part of over history. So it's worth looking into because it tells you a lot why some people, it's not that they just hate Americans and they hate our way of life, they just don't really appreciate some of the missteps that we've had. So hello, Dorothy Ross, how are you today? They must be desperate if they have to bribe people. It is an act of desperation, clearly. And Duchess of Success, Anne is here. Hi, all. Over 1.5 million people protest the war in Iraq and London, the biggest modern protest in British history. Tony Blair dragged us into it, forever scarred seeing those invasion images. Yeah, and thank you for saying that. And unfortunately, because of the special relationship, um, the British were obliged, if not obligated, to join in because, I think it was just like a way of saying thank you for helping us. And it's not like the United States went into Europe just to help Europe. The United States was so enriched by the Marshall Plan and such. I mean, the Marshall Plan, let me say this, it was a good idea. It did help rebuild the economy of Europe, but it also made America a superpower. Before the war, Britain was the superpower. After World War II, the United States became the superpower. So, but still, that special relationship exists. And because of that, I think, when they say special relationship, you figure out what it means. But what it means, as far as I'm concerned, is wow, we're going to war in Iraq, whether or not we need to. Are you going to join in? Yes. Okay. Well, there we go. And so, yeah, it was really sad. A lot of Americans protested, but if you ask me, not nearly enough. But when that invasion started, I couldn't sleep. And I talked to some people that thought it was such a good idea. I'm guessing they were Republicans, but not all Republicans, because a lot of Democrats voted for it. And I do mean a lot. And some of them are still in power today. Thank you so much for your comment. All right. So let's go here. If you recall, there was the same thing going on with the Jubilee. Not as big, but as you can see there, UK retail sales fell again in June, despite Queen's Jubilee celebration. So the Jubilee, and this is one thing that's different. I noticed they're not trying to sell the coronation like they did the Jubilee. They thought the Jubilee was going to reverse the fortunes for everyone in Britain, because it says increase in food and drink sales, not enough to offset overall impact of cost of living crisis, OSN data shows. A boost for food and drink sales over the Queen's Jubilee weekend was not enough to prevent the cost of living crisis from pushing down retail sales last month. And there in the small print, it says people attempt to hold the world's longest street party in Oxfordshire over the Queen's Platinum Jubilee weekend. Well, you guys, this is what they want more of. They want more people to pour into the streets with these street parties. And people are just like, nah, nah. It's just not that important to most people. But yeah, they keep trying. I mean, I give them credit for the fact that they they have turned to bribery. I mean, if you have to bribe people, you know what I'm saying? If you have to bribe people, is it really the thing to do? I say not. It's outrageous. Matter of fact, let me go back to, let me see. Yesterday was it? Uh oh wait, that's 20. Okay. Yeah. So let's go back to yesterday and let me see what I had about that yesterday. Huh. Okay. Did I have something for that yesterday? I thought I did. Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, was this it? Okay, this was, yeah. So, inside the 87 unpatriotic council spending nothing on King's coronation, excuse me, including Charles' own tight-fisted town hall. So, when they say town hall, is that Lancaster? I think. But anyway, so how and why you should volunteer for the king's coronation. So, unfortunately, well, and this is the reaction from quite a few people, in my view. And they also are still posting requests for people to join the protest, Not My King, on May the 6th. They're still asking for people. But, oh, yeah, so there it is. That's what I'm looking for. If you guys recall, it was a while ago they were asking for bell ringers, and still they don't have enough. They do not have enough. And then, of course, let me see, what's the other one over there? And that was, oh, wait, let me go. Nope, not that one. Okay, yeah. So right there, it says January 26th. There it is. Festival of Volunteering announced to mark the King Charles III's coronation. So they have. This has been like an ongoing thing, asking for volunteers, and still they don't have enough. And they've had plenty time. They've had plenty time. I'm surprised that the tabloid media has not been more vocal about trying to recruit people to come out. Although it seems to be nowadays there's more stories pointing out the fact that there's a lack of interest in showing or demonstrating that people are pouring into the streets looking for a place to volunteer. So go figure. All right. Man, I am so far behind with all of these comments. I do apologize. All right. M. Covington says, "Greetings, Sussex Squad. Please continue to wave Harry and Meghan's flag of truth. Expose the royal family for the scoundrels they are." I will say amen to that one. Thank you so much, M. Covington. And thank you so much for being here. And always thank you for watching Royal Sussex. All right. And by the way, you guys, if you get a chance to, Anne was explaining some of the very detailed things about the whole scandal with the tabloids and hacking and their very aggressive reporting. I caught a bit of it before I came on. So when you guys are done, make sure you go back over to the Duchess of Success so you can learn about that, because there's a lot of stuff that I had never heard before, and I was listening as I was prepping. So when you guys get a chance to, make sure you go over to the Duchess of Success so you can learn about that. Very interesting. Okay, here is the contrast. Now that slide, that photo on the left, people standing in the streets of London, all their possessions in plastic bags, sleeping on their feet, freezing cold, wishing there were free toilets and free food trucks open in the darkness, dreaming of free blankets and a chance to tell the world press their story. That was from the Queen's funeral. That was during the Queen's funeral. And then there on the right, the Queen's Platinum Jubilee schedule. If you guys remember, there was days and days and days of events, one event after the other. And none of that, as I just mentioned earlier, did anything to put a dent in the ever shrinking economy. And then, of course, after the Jubilee, we find out later on that when it comes to economic growth, Britain is actually in a deficit compared to even, let's say, Italy, among other countries. I mean, Italy has a big economy, but still, I mean, the Italy is not a G7 country. It's not one of the wealthier countries, but they do okay for themselves. So, um, in contrast to that, that's all I can say is in contrast to that. Okay, Kate Middleton's cold hard stare. William is power play signal, claims expert. So that expert, Judy James, I know you've all heard of her before. She says, according to body language expert Judy James, Kate Middleton gave her husband, Prince William, a cold, hard stare at their recent royal engagement, and William's reaction to this was unexpected. Really? Really? Um, Either it's a cold hard stare or she's laughing like a hyena. Which is it? How do you ever know the difference? That's the only other thing she has is the cold hard stare. I don't think there's any other emotion. She's either grinning like she's lost her mind, or there's the cold hard stare. I'm trying to figure out where is the news. But I'm going to tell you what I think is at play. Give me just a second, I'll explain. So, as you know, there's a long tradition of chocolate meadows, overstuffed uniforms, a brave and stern gaze so that people will know that they are a military family and that there is a military component to the royal family. God save the king. Long live the king. You know what I'm saying? There's always that military component. And especially Anne, the Princess Royale, someone who's actually at retirement age, is still out there stepping in her uniform. And dare I say, If you ask me, she gives off more of a masculine energy than Wilhelmina ever has. Rambelina, I mean. Yeah. She gives off more of a masculine energy than Andrew. I'm sorry, Edward. I always get Edward and Andrew mixed up. But yeah, she's she gives off a bit of a masculine energy. Nothing wrong with that. But sometimes she could be a little gruff. Um, Maybe that explains why I have a bit of a crush on her. I don't know, but yeah. So she's actually looks more compelling in the uniform than most of the guys in the family. Dare I say? Well, she does. She looks more compelling. I mean, I would actually believe that she had um, some type of history of combat. And with all the years, I have never seen Anne wearing one of those bespoke maxi coats. Only Edward. So yeah. Anyway, yes, that's true. That's true. You have to be fair. Andrew actually did go to the Falkland Island War, and I remember what a big deal that was at the time. And they said the Queen said, "Oh yes, he will serve." They made it all very convincing. So you can't take that away from him. You really can't. But yeah, so he's done his duty. He's done his duty. All right. So if you take a look here, as I said, there is something about a politician putting those big, gigantic helmets on that look absolutely silly. And some people have pointed out that it reminds them of that movie Spaceball, where it is a parody of the Star Wars. And you can see the center photo right there. That is showing you how ridiculous those helmets could be. And that did not prevent from Rishi Sunak, the tiniest man to have ever lived in number 10 Downing Street, from doing the same thing. Go figure. Let's see here. Anne did frump up her husband's hat. She don't play. Yeah, she smushed his hat on the way. Oh, you legs, you remember that? Yes, she did smush his hat. She went in there like, with all that masculine energy and just threw stuff into her carry-all, his clothes included. And when they got to what was it, Australia? His hat looked like she had just balled it up and stuck it in a bag or something. God, that was funny. Thanks, Legs, for the super chat. But I like Anne. I like her little masculine energy. Um it's so weird, but it's funny to me though. I mean, she's got that little masculine energy. uh, okay, I gotta stop thinking about that. All right, what was I saying? Oh, anyway. So this is what I think. Kate to the rescue, right? Kate to the rescue. Kate Middleton wanted by Grenadier Guards to replace disgraced Prince Andrew as their colonel. Well, she is a colonel now, and I think that they're trying to play up this. Kate is so strong, and Kate is the future of the monarchy, and the monarchy is on the verge of collapse, and the only thing that is going to save them is I can't even say it. The only thing that's going to save them is anyway. They think that she's going to help. I just can't say. I can't fix my mouth to say it. Never mind. But that's what they think. So they're trying to make her seem more tough and decisive. That's what I think is going on. And so they have made up this pretense. Let me go back again, that she somehow put him in his place like William was trying to exert some authority over her and she stared him down. Come on, Judy James. I mean, oh, and by the way, you guys, I was going to play this today. You guys remember this, right? I was going to play this today, but guess what? Do you know? Okay, you know what? I'm going to let you hear what happened and I'm glad I caught it because it would have been embarrassing if I didn't. Take a listen.
Demographics, and I'm going to say older people and men is because she says absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
She's a good little girl who keeps quiet and doesn't.
Do you hear what happened? Let me do that again. Let me do it again.
Amongst certain demographics, and I'm going to say older people and men is because she says absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
She's a good little girl who keeps quiet and doesn't.
They muted. You know how she used to say Kate is an old-fashioned mute woman? And that's why they like her, because they muted that. And that's on the Twitter. The whole second half of that is gone. They muted Kate is a mute woman. I guess I must have played it one time too many. Hey, Sean, I guess I must have played that one time too many. They muted the mute woman. I didn't know that they could do that on Twitter. They didn't take the tweet away, but they muted Kate is an old-fashioned mute woman. I was shocked. They literally muted my favorite thing. It's gone. Yes, Foxy, they muted it. You guys, how many times did I have fun with that? She never complains. She never explains. Kate is what they call an old-fashioned, and it's gone. They took it away. And I don't think I saved it. I don't even have it anymore. Of course, it's back in some of the old videos, but I don't have it available to play from Twitter anymore. They took it away. They muted that. I wonder. Well, come on, Connie Balmer. You know, we have ways of finding it. So I can definitely, go dig and find it somewhere. But I know, Marcia Ware, they're listening. They took away the old-fashioned mute woman. Let's do that one more time. I want you to see where it cuts off.
Amongst certain demographics, and I'm going to say older people and men is because she says absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
She's a good little girl who keeps quiet and doesn't.
It just cuts off. I was like, what? Wow. All I can say is wow. Oh, well, they're listening. So I was wondering when they said that she threw a look at him, was this the look? Because I tell you, if somebody ever came toward me with that look, I would feel like it's fight or flight. I don't know what to do with that look. Outside of certain institutions, that look is quite disturbing. So oh man, now that is a look. So I don't know why I love this photo so much. If you ever tried to sell Avon with that look, I don't think most people would let you in the house with a Avon calling. Is the lady of the house home? Could you imagine if that was the Avon lady? That company would have fallen into ruins if the Avon lady ever showed up at the door looking like that. Hello, Avon calling. Is the lady of the house in? Ma, Ma, it's some crazy lady at the door. She's selling Avon. That is so bad. That is so bad. Oh, anyway. Um Anne says there is a mini homeless encampment in Edgware, London. It's getting worse. Never really seen that before. See what I mean? See what I mean? How about if they uh, spent some of that money over there? It really is disturbing. It is creeping closer and closer to the post-war era. Anyway, thank you, Anne. And of course, when they said she gave him a look, I had to go through my little catalog and pull out just a couple of the more interesting looks. All I'm trying to say is, when does she not look at him like that? When does she not look at him like that? It would be news if it wasn't a routine event, but that is her set point. It's either laughing like a hyena or the look or that look. But there's usually a look. So I don't know what Judy James, but they probably just needed some filler for today. And so, in order to fill up the mirror, they decided to try to big up Kate by making her seem like she is so right, a festive glance, like she is so strong-willed and the very future. She is Britannia. Yeah, pretty soon they're going to just start calling her Britannia. So nice try. Okay, you guys, now this happened today, and this was very disturbing. I have covered up the name of the deranger. It says, have you all seen this takedown of Meghan Markle by yet another Black person? Now, when I saw yet another Black person, I'm just like, oh boy, I think we have some blackfishing going on here. Well, actually, I don't know if this person ever pretended to be Black, but anyway, they said by yet another Black person. There is a large swathe of the community that doesn't believe a word of what Meghan Markle and Prince Harry psychobabble. So good I had to she said so good I had to steal it. Well, she's speaking about a comedian who I believe is British. Is she Nigerian born, or is she first generation Nigerian British? But her name is Gina Yashir. And Gina was so upset about this that she said, do not take a video from The Daily Show and cut a clip from it completely out of context to shore up your BS. Let's get this straight. I believe every word that Harry and Meghan are saying. And whoever watches the video in its entirety will know this is far from a takedown. So she took just a small part of it and she started playing it on the Twitter, or she posted it to the Twitter. And it was supposed to be in the vein of Chris Rock. Now, I'm going to let you guys, this is what I'll do. Right here, it says, one of the squatties said, Gina has always been vocal about the way the press and royal family treated Meghan. And anybody who has been paying attention, these are 4 separate videos where she has been full-throated in her support for the Sussexes. And I'll let you hear what she said to Stephen Colbert.
Curious if do you have any opinion on what's going on between Harry and Meghan and the tabloids and Buckingham Palace? Like, what are your thoughts on how this is playing out?
Do I have an opinion, Stephen? Do you have time?
Yes.
Okay, listen. Buckingham Palace is racist. It's that.
I'll write that
British
down.
press are racist.
Buckingham
They're all
Palace
racist.
is
It's all
racist.
racism. We know it's racist. Look at the way the press talked about Meghan Markle. Some of the headlines that they came out with, almost straight out of Compton. There was one headline in a British newspaper, I'm not even lying, from cotton picking to the royal palace. This was an actual headline, and they're trying to lie and say, oh, it's nothing to do with race. It's just, them discussing the color of the baby. I'm glad it's all out in the open. I'm glad that they did the interview. People are saying it's inappropriate. It's ridiculous. It was time for that to come out in the open. And now the palace has to reckon with themselves, as did Piers Morgan. And I'm glad he's gone. What a man, baby.
I was going to ask about Piers Morgan, but you beat me to it. Well, Gina, thank you so much for being on.
So that was one of several times that Gina has stood up for Princess Meghan. So again, thank you to the Sussex Squad Detective Agency. Glow actually posted this. The Derangers have hidden Gina Yashir reply. Maybe she wants her followers and other observers to be misled, like they did with the Chris Rock clip where the bit called the royal family the original racist, and that Meghan should have known was cut out, just in case. Here it is. So and that's a good point. A lot of derangers who were not going to sit around and watch the actual Chris Rock concert, because it is not available unless you have the Netflix or whatever. So instead, they just picked the parts that was disparaging to Meghan, and they omitted anything that had to do with the royal family as the original colonists, or no, races, and that they invented colonialism. They cut that part out. So that is the result of that, is that the Sussex Squad Detective Agency has had to go and dig out some things, especially this right here. If you guys want to listen to another one, let me see if I can do that. Maybe. Oh gosh, I don't want to play one that's too long, but
Jeremy Clarkson, Piers Morgan, Peter Shilton, and all these others of that ilk are a bunch of bloated bags of molten diarrhea filled with pus and privilege. Jeremy Clarkson, is he not the same pig that got fired from his job for punching an assistant for getting his food order wrong? This is the man that you're given a platform to abuse Meghan Markle. And I didn't think I could be surprised by the British establishment anymore, but every day they plunge to new depths. It's mind-boggling that you can have something published saying how you'd like a woman stripped naked and paraded through the streets and have shit thrown at her. The level of hatred and venom that these white men and women have towards this woman who has done them no harm, who they do not know, simply because she had the gall to get up and leave the country where she was under incessant abuse and trolling and gaslighting to make a better life for herself, her husband, and her kids. That is enough to have these white men frothing at their disgusting mouths, writing this kind of vile, insightful shit in newspapers. Miller Parker Bowles is hosting parties, inviting these people. They're quick to jump on Meghan, but no mention of the fact that the Queen paid $12 million.
Okay. I think you guys get the point. I don't want to leave the Andrew part, so I'll skip that. But yeah, you can hear her support for the Sussexes, and in particular Meghan. So it leaves no room for doubt. They took something out of context and tried to run with it as yet another black American. But yeah, so there you go. And again, thank you, Sussex Squad Detective Agency. What's that you got there, Church Nelly? Let me see. Whatever this is, Church Nelly, I hope it's not going to be you in a can again, because I don't think I could take that. The last thing I want to see is Church Nelly in another can. I'm still trying to erase that from my mental Rolodex, but I'm going to pin it to the top of the chat anyway. So if you guys want to see Church Nelly in a can, go ahead and go ahead and click on that link. And you can watch Church Nelly work. Kick, kick, kick. I know Church Nelly. I did click on it. Church Nelly is reminding us that those are some videos of Gina Yashir. That's what she just shared. It is not Church Nelly in a can. So, although I am sure that there's somebody who would pay to see that. Oh man. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. Rosin Gatewood says, Baron, I want you to say my name with enthusiasm like you do Connie Baumer. Okay, but if I do, that's kind of like what do you call it? I have to find another way to say it, because it would be a like a copyright infringement against Connie Baumer. So yeah, that's kind of like Connie's thing. I don't want to take that away from her. But I'll find something. I promise. I'll find something. It's got to be special and unique to you. Okay. So let me see here. And oh yeah, and there's the one right there. She did mention the Straight Outta Compton. And anyway, so as we know, the tabloids, this has been like sanctioned by the editors of these papers and enabled, if you ask me, by the insiders, the sources or palace insiders. They have also perpetuated these stories. So okay, so yesterday Legs had pointed out that Charles should remind all of us of how do you say it, Yoki? No, you know what? Just that fast, I forgot the donkey's name, but I do see it. I see the jowls and the yeah, I and even the eyes, even the thunderstruck eyes that seem to have lost all muscles. All of the facial muscles around the eyes are on the verge of collapse. So yes, I do see it. And one of the things that I couldn't stop, I said, well, I can't show that if I don't share these. Ingrid's seaweed or seaweed. What's her name from Loose Women? And of course, that haunting resemblance that hoghead Pierce Morgan has to just about any swine I've ever seen. So there's that. And then, of course, there is the gruesome women who, of course, were neighbors of the Flintstones before they got that talk show. See there? Loose women, gruesome women. Nobody has made better use of bangs in history than Loose Women. As a matter of fact, I couldn't insist nobody in history go and find someone to cut some bangs for them. Actually, I'm just kidding. I kind of feel like I'm looking at 4 wigs. It's either lots of extensions or 4 wigs, but it's okay. And then, of course, there is that resemblance to Gargamel that Tom Bauer bears. And, I just chose one photo of Liz Truss, but when I first saw her, the first thing I thought of was Children of the Corn. And, of course, there is Up in the Valley of the Jolly Green Giant, not to be confused with Granny or a windsock. So those are some of my faves. And then, of course, there is the Yeti of the Great Northwest, Thomas Markle. And, if I didn't know better, I would say someone has grabbed the Yeti and shaved all the hair off of it, save for just a few on the face, of course, and somehow has taught it to, well, of course, if you take a Yeti from the north and put them in Rosarito, Mexico, you got to get some of that hair off because heat exhaustion would kick in. So, yes, Thomas Markle, the Yeti. And then, of course, there is the woman of the Dust Bowl era who has a haunting resemblance to Sophie Wessex. Well, I tell you, that Dust Bowl, when I look at Sophie, sometimes I sneeze. And then, of course, there's that other Yeti, when he's not resembling a swine. There's a couple of Yetis right there. It's striking how a downtrodden, defeated old white man always has that same silhouette. So, and what else do they have in common? 2 of the biggest whiners and complainers, and of course, they are always the victim. Oh, and they always like to make everything about them, right? They have an innate ability to make everything about them. And of course, there is that love child theory that I have about Otis the Wino and Aunt B producing Thomas Markle. So I think that if we could ever get some DNA from Thomas Markle, somehow we are going to find that Aunt B, yes, pious Aunt B, who never married, never had any children, at least not that we know about, somehow conceived a child named Thomas Markle. And I mean, let's face it, we never see his parents, do we? Do we? Never. You never hear any mention of Thomas Markle's parents. So until I know better. And then, of course, the actor Jack Elam and that striking resemblance that Jan Moore has to the actor Jack Elam. So, again, until I know better, that's my theory. And then it continues. And by the way, I don't know who did this, but I found that this one wasn't mine. But I found this on the Twitter one day, and I'm just like, yes, got it. Although, I have also compared her to Jethreen, but okay, I'll take that one. And with that, you guys, guess what? I am done. So thank you, as always, for watching Royal Sussex, and I will see you guys tomorrow. So those of you in different time zones, go ahead and get some rest because we are done for today. A little over an hour. I'm impressed. All right, you guys. So if you have anything else you want to add, feel free to throw it in there. As always, much love to our queens, our queen of everything, and of course, our queen of hearts. Well, thank you for staying up with us, Connie Balmer and Elaine Parker and quite a few other people that are staying up to watch Royal Sussex. But yeah, we are done. Leg says, I know I didn't do the Stilky chicken or Seabiscuit. It was just kind of like an idea that I had last moment. And that's why I don't have any of those. But I mean, I could have just been pulling stuff out for hours, finding different things. But yeah, I know, right? I know. It was almost like you didn't have a chance to go and flip a couple of sausages or anything. And next thing you know, I'm done. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. And thank you, Legs, for the super chat. And I will see you all tomorrow. And let's see here. Oh, yeah. And how will we close it out today? Let me see. Okay. Something that unites us all together. Okay, KDV, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I appreciate it. And thank you for the super sticker. Oh, I like that. So Cynthia Thorpe says, bye, everybody. Have a peaceful night. Sounds like an ending to me. Thank you very much. That will be our last word of the day. And with that, you guys, I am going to cue the Ginger Avenger. Okay, hit it, Ginge. Oh, wait, let me take that away. Oh, there we go. And you guys, Facts and 2 Cents is on. So I'm going to hop over there. And thank you, TRC Rugs, for the super sticker. Yes, again, Pedo, Facts and 2 Cents is on. So I will see you guys over there. And I also will see you guys tomorrow. And remember, this is Thomas Markle, and I'm up in it real bad. That sounds like something he would say. This is Thomas Markle, and I'm up in it real bad. I'm up in it real bad. Okay, you guys. I will see you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. Love you guys.